Wishing you a very happy birthday from the whole Niger Smooth Jazz Lovers family.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Very,
Lots of love, everyone. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Yes. And also an extra warm welcome for those who are just joining us for the very first time. We have this weekly session of smooth jazz every Sunday from 6 to 8 UK time. So you feel free to join us. We always have lots of fun. There's great music, lots of banter, and much more. Now we come to the highlight of the evening, which is we are going to be in conversation with our guest of the week. She is an international recording artist, singer, songwriter, soul jazz vocalist who's recorded all over the world. She's been lead singer with smooth jazz group Pieces of the Dream, which is one of the biggest smooth jazz outfits to come out of Philadelphia. She's with us today, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Miss Tracy Hamlin. Miss Tracy Hamlin in the house.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. How are you doing?
I am absolutely wonderful. The weather is gorgeous. We're slowly getting back out. So I'm excited to have been around people lately and super excited that you reached out to me for this interview and honored to spend some time with you all today.
Excellent. That's great. That's fabulous. We're absolutely thrilled and delighted to have you on the show. And you've had an amazing career over the years. And we'd like to know a lot more about you and how you've been able to navigate the difficult course within the music industry.
Yes,
so go on. Yeah.
Difficult course it is. So I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I actually live in Northern Virginia now, right outside of Washington, D.C., but born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I come from a musical family. I started singing with my brothers. I have 3 older brothers, and they used to imitate the Temptations and Jackson 5. And whenever we had company at our house, which we had company all of the time, my brothers would perform, and if one was not there, I would sort of fill in. So it got to the point that when all 3 were there, I still wanted to perform. So at 5 years old, I told my family, I said, look, I'm going solo. I can't do this fill-in stuff anymore. So at 5 years old, I said, you know what? I want to be a singer. And I started performing, and my neighbors used to call me. They would call my parents and say, hey, we're having a dinner party. Can Tracy come over and sing a couple of songs? We'll pay her. And this was at 6 and 7 and 8 years old. And so I was bitten by the bug very early. So fast forward to 2004, when I couldn't get a record deal because, you know, the record labels, they want to pigeonhole you. And I'm a very versatile singer because I came from singing for bar mitzvahs and a lot of corporate events. So I had to sing a variety of music. And so record labels, they said, what is she trying to be? And I was like, I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just a singer that's passionate. I love music and I can sing, multiple genres. And so I decided to just start my own label and do my own thing. And then that way, nobody could tell me what I couldn't do and could do. And so now I'm working on my 6th smooth jazz, R&B, soulful album, but in the meantime, in between time, I've released 5 albums and executive produced. So I'm the label, I'm the booking agent, I'm everything. And I tell folks all the time, you have to control and create your destiny. Sometimes, you got to put in a little bit of extra work, and that's what I've done. And I also, so I do R&B, I do jazz, and I do house music.
Wow. What a combination.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned from a little bird that you're classically trained. However, you can actually sing in different languages. Which are the, how did that come about? And which languages are those?
So I went to the High School of Performing Arts in Baltimore, and I was a voice major. And as a voice major, you have to study classical music. And I always kick myself because, when I was there, I did not understand or really appreciate this amazing opportunity that I was getting. And I ended up doing classical music for 5 years. And the technique that I gained from it is just priceless. And because of the technique that I gained, I never had any kind of vocal issues. I mean, I performed in over 58 countries. And, when you're on the planes with germs and the climate changes and the time changes, the classical music, studying classical music for 5 years just taught me technique and discipline. And it's been quite amazing. And so I sang songs in German, French, and a lot in Italian.
Wow. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah. And
I heard you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. Yeah. You're
about to say something. One of the things that I'm super grateful for is the diction piece, because when I was studying classical music, I had diction classes. And one of the things that people comment on quite a bit is my diction. When I sing, they understand what I'm singing. And that's because I literally had diction classes.
Awesome. Who were your heroes? Who were your musical heroes in the vocal sort of genre?
My greatest vocal inspiration is Renee Diggs from the group Starpoint. Yes. And the amazing thing, so when Starpoint came out back in the 80s, I studied Renee Diggs to a T. And one of the career highlights for me is that somebody told her that I was her vocal twin. And she called me before she passed away, of course, because she passed away back in 2005, I think. But she called me to sing background vocals on her album. And then when Starpoint got together to do a reunion concert tour, well, it was actually a spot date in France in 2011, they called me to do the female vocal parts for Starpoint. And it was quite amazing because that was a group that I just love. But after Renee Diggs, I mean, I listened to Stevie Wonder, Chaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, Tina Marie, Etta James. I'm somebody who put my ear on everything because I sing a lot of different genres and I love to listen to a lot of different genres, in particular country music. And what drew me to country music is the quality of their production, the quality of the writing, the quality of the musicianship, and putting my ear to all these different genres. When I go to write music, when I go to sing music, I'm pulling on all of those influence, like Luther Vandross and Natalie Cole and Stephanie Mills. And, so I think that variety has really helped to just keep me well-rounded as an artist.
Yeah. You're obviously a very, very versatile musician, not pigeonholed in any way. And not afraid to venture into new territories and stuff.
Right.
I think you just.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I have done consistently is just stepping out on faith, believing in myself, and being willing to invest in myself. And I always tell people, when I couldn't get a record deal, I started my own label. When I wasn't getting booked for gigs, I became a promoter and started booking my own gigs. And when I didn't get booked for jazz festivals, I created my own jazz festival. So we'll be up and running for year 3 for 2022. So, very excited about that.
That's the Tracy Hamlin jazz, sweet jazz and
Sweet Jazz and Wine Festival.
A wine festival.
Yes, and so the Tracy Hamlin Sweet Jazz and Wine Festival. When I decided to do it, and it's in Virginia, and I've done it at a winery, and because wine and jazz go hand in hand. People, it's a great combination. But one of the things that was most important to me was giving back to my community. So partial proceeds from the festival go to support a student from low-income families in the area, and we give them a 1-year scholarship for private music instruction. And that was important to me. And so far, we've given away 2 scholarships, and I've watched it change and shape the lives of these 2 students that received it. Because for me, for where I grew up, singing saved my life. And if I didn't want to pursue singing, I would not have had the discipline that I had, because I was absolutely headed down the wrong road, but because I wanted to be a singer, I knew I needed to get my act together, and I wanted to be able to do that for somebody else. So that is near and dear to my heart, giving back to the community.
Well done on the, you know, creating your own mini jazz festival when you didn't get any bookings.
And I mean, it was definitely an undertaking. I mean, because I'm somebody, I just stay in the hustle. And when it's over, I look back and say, okay, lady, you're kind of crazy. Who does that? So I'm glad that I don't think about it until it's done, but I stay in the hustle and, you know, just make sure that everything, because one of the things that I love is to just sit back and watch folks enjoy the experience. And that is just a high for me. So I really, really love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I know you did something in St. Lucia. Was it a mini festival or something? I can't remember.
Yes. So for St. Lucia is my second home. I've been to St. Lucia probably 60 times, literally.
Wow.
And I started out there working with this amazing jazz guitarist named Ronald Boo Hinkson. And I did a song with him. It's so interesting because he wrote this, he's an amazing songwriter. And he wrote this song called Magic and Love, and he was connected to someone from my church. And he said to the music director from my church, I'm looking for somebody who has a Stephanie Mills vibe with a little bit of jazz and a little bit of R&B. And so this guy said, I have the perfect person for you, because everybody compares me to Stephanie Mills, which is a huge honor. And I did the song, and then after that, they started inviting me to St. Lucia to perform at hotel openings for the St. Lucia Jazz Fest. And I did a private event there, and the person who is the guest of honor for this event, he had paid some artists in advance and they kind of disappeared. So because I lived in the States, he thought I was connected to everybody, which I am not. but he said, hey, I don't know where these artists are. Can you put together something for me? And I did. And then that turned into a 9 years of me planning this event that became a mini jazz festival, because while it was a private birthday party, I was booking Sheila E., Layla Hathaway, Peter White, Jeff Lorber, Gerald Albright. I mean, everybody.
All the big
McComb.
Everybody.
Yeah. And it was a birthday party, but it ended up being a 4-day celebration. And I put it together from start to finish. You know, I chose the artists, negotiated the contracts, and of course, somebody else paid for all of this. I was just leading the way, and I ended up choosing the venues and became an event planner, because that's essentially what it was. I became the event planner for this event. And again, that situation, I used to just love to sit back and watch these folks come to St. Lucia, have an amazing time. And the Friday before the big Saturday event, we would have a welcome reception. And so that way I was able to hire a lot of St. Lucians to come and perform for the artists that would perform on Saturday night. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time of fellowship.
Awesome. I really admire your drive and your persistence and you know, like, don't take no for an answer sort of thing. And
Right.
you know how you're able to get through to, you know, to achieve. It reminds me, we had on the show a few months ago someone called Arthur Renee.
Oh yeah, I've hired her multiple times, brought her to St. Lucia as well.
Okay, yeah. She was sitting where you're sitting, basically,
more
or less. And she was telling us about how she started out and how things were so difficult in the music industry for especially a woman, you know, a Black woman in jazz, for instance, and all that kind of thing. And a lot of people don't know about the mechanics behind the business of music and all that kind of stuff. It's also good, you know, it's all right, you know, knowing how to play the instrument or singing or whatever. But if you don't know the business side and you don't know how to interact with the right people and connect and all that kind of stuff, you know, you're really missing out. So she actually put a book together for it, you know, to help young budding artists that want to get into the industry. It's called Chocolate Bar, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that she had a book out, and I think it is so necessary, because what people who aspire to be in the music industry, they don't understand that the music business really is a business. And you have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to wear multiple hats, because the game has completely changed. You know, when you're 17, yeah, somebody's interested in signing you to a deal. But if you're 22, 23, you know, depending on whether you had luck with putting out one song and it hit big and somebody's interested in signing you, and they'll keep the momentum building, you know, you have to be willing to just step out there. And, you know, with COVID and with all of these social media outlets and the computer, there's so many opportunities for you to do it yourself and keep the middleman out. And so while I'm not a major star, I have managed to stay relevant, and I am in control of everything that I'm doing, which is great. And it's really benefited me on the backside, because even with my R&B and jazz albums, I own the masters, so I can license it. Yep. And, you know, even I like to tell up and coming artists, it's important for you to do that, because in COVID, I was still able to make royalties as a performing artist, but also as somebody that owned the masters to my music. You know, that came with a payday as well. So it's just so important, if you can, to just, you know, if you want to be in this industry, it is a great idea, especially now. Everything is so much cheaper than it used to be. And you can easily just go online. Like I always say, use Little Nas X. When he did Old Country Road, he purchased the beats to that song for $30. And look at him now. Yeah. You know, so that was a small investment compared to what some other people do. But, you know, I think for me, it's just, you know, if you keep the content coming, that will allow you to stay relevant. And a saturated, because everybody sings, everybody plays instruments, everybody's producing now.
Everybody. Yeah, I think this will be a good point for us to share one of your videos, and then you can tell us all about it when it comes up. Yes. It's called Stand By. I think the song you're singing in it. Yes. So can we get the admin guys to share this for our audience? This is Miss Tracy Hamlin here.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Randy Dennis. Our next performer, in our opinion, is one of the most exciting in our industry. She's just back from her world tour, and she is something else. Here to perform her latest hit, Stand By, on the DMH record label. Put your hands together, gang, for Tracy Hamlin.
awesome stuff.
Oh,
That
wow.
voice.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
We thought we'd surprise you with that. That's why we didn't let you know in advance.
Yes. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yes, at least that brought a smile to your face. We could see.
Yes. It's interesting. As I watched, I just thought about everything that was going on at that time. I talked about being an independent artist and, just organizing those folks and making sure I fed them and making sure I had my clothes and getting it was a lot of work, but so worth it. That was my first official video. So I was super excited. And on the
first one.
that was my first official video. Yeah. So quite exciting. It was a lot going on. So it's great to watch that and think of just the fun time that we had and how everybody came out and they were so supportive. So that was really awesome.
Where was that shot? In Baltimore as well? Or?
Yeah, that was shot in Baltimore at a studio that's also a rehearsal space, an art studio, and people would have small showcases there. So the scene from when I was on stage with a band to the scene in the studio, that's all in the same building.
In the same building.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous stuff.
Yeah.
Fabulous. But you had actually created your label by that time, hadn't you?
Yes, I had. So my label is called DMH Records. It's my late mother's initials, Dorothy Marie Hamlin. And so at this point, I have been the only artist on it. I've been searching for a different artist, but sometimes it's really difficult to work with artists when they don't understand. A lot of people think, okay, if I get a record deal, this means I'm on my way to being Beyonce. And one of the things that I pride myself on doing is just educating folks to help them understand that Beyonce's level is absolutely amazing. However, it's a 1 in a million situation. So there's so many layers below it that are okay for you to thrive. And that's where I live. And I've been doing music full time since I started my record label in 2005.
2005.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 2005.
You started singing in a band from 11, apparently, was it?
Yes. So I went to there was auditions in Baltimore for this band called Fragile Glass, and they were a really popular band in Baltimore. And my brother took me to the audition. I will never forget. It was on a Monday, and when I got there, they kind of chuckled because they thought this little girl wants to be in our band. That is so cute. But they said she's here, so let's just let her sing. And I sang, and they hired me. And that Saturday, it was my first paid gig.
Remember how much you got paid?
Yes, I got paid $25 great big dollars. It was huge to me. And I just couldn't believe. I was like, $25? What?
Wow.
So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So your first album was in 2005. Was it right? Am I right in saying that?
Yes,
okay.
2005 was the first one. The second one was 2009. And that's the one that really helped to get me recognized from different folks, especially in Europe. And then 2013, I released 2 albums. And 2015, I released the last one.
Wow. So you've been pretty prolific over the years then. Yeah.
Yes. And I've been doing, since 2015, I've been doing a ton of house music singles. I have not done a jazz and R&B album. And, I have music that I've worked on in the last year or so, but I'm just not where I want that project to be. So it's coming. Yeah, it is definitely coming.
It's the work in progress.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Pieces of a Dream, how you got involved with them, what it was like being with them, going on tour with them, that kind of, because I know they were the proteges of the great Grover Washington Jr.
Yes.
From Philadelphia, and you're from Baltimore. How did that sort of?
Well, I grew up listening to them. Mount Airy Groove was a big hit. Yeah. And I knew the bass player. His name is Dave Dyson. He was playing with them. And when he wasn't on the road with Pieces of a Dream, we would do local gigs in the Baltimore or DC, Virginia area. And so one night he said, they're looking for a new female singer. Would you be interested? Because I can give them your name. And I said, sure. So the funny part of this story is he told them about me. They wanted a demo. And at the time, I had not recorded anything. I didn't have a demo. So my best friend owns a recording studio. And I said, listen, I have a plan. So I had the tracks to a Yolanda Adams song, the karaoke track. So I went in, I sang that song, and I said, I need to send more than one song. So I ended up doing an a cappella version of God Bless the Child. And I said, well, this song, you know, on the recording, I said, I chose to do this song a cappella so that you could hear the clarity in my voice. But really, it was because I didn't have another song. So we recorded that night. I FedExed the package at 7 p.m. that night. They called me at 10 a.m. the next day and said, hey, can you meet me? Can you meet us on the road? So I met them on the road for sound check for their next gig. And I was with them for about 3.5 years. I'm on 2 of their albums.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And it was so exciting to work with these, you know, these jazz musicians, because while I'm not a jazz singer, I touched on it a little bit and have always loved the genre. And I just thought all the folks in that band, they were just brilliant, and it would be a great opportunity for me to learn and grow as a vocalist. So that's what that was for me, to just get in there and get some experience of being on the road touring, because we went to South Africa, we went to Japan. I met all kinds of amazing people, some I still keep in contact with. And it was an incredible experience of growth as a vocalist, and then just learning how to navigate on the road, because that road, that touring, it is no joke. And I always tell people, when you go on the road, you have to prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, because it will take its toll on your body if you're not disciplined. So you really got to have your stuff together if you want to do it, you know, go on tour and be able to present your best self.
Wow. Gosh, that's insider information you've given us there. Because we just see the glitz. We don't know what's going on in the background.
Oh, let me tell you, behind the scenes, just the travel. For instance, when folks book you, it's cheaper for them to get you a 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. flight. So you stay up the night before because you're afraid to go to sleep because you might miss the flight because you have to be at the airport so early. So you're tired when you get to the airport. And then by the time, a lot of time you go from the airport to the hotel to sound check, you do the gig. And I always tell people that it's really important to make sure that you have some kind of natural herbs to help you sleep, to help give you energy, because if you don't, that's how people get hooked on drugs. You know, because as an artist, you're really treated like a machine, you know, and if you don't have a great foundation, you can get caught up. That's why you hear about so many artists getting addicted to drugs, because nobody really has these conversations, and nobody grooms you to help you understand what it's like to be on the road and how you need to prepare yourself. And it is something that you absolutely have to pay attention to, because as a singer, if I'm tired, I can't sing. You know, so I have to make sure. So if I'm going overseas to perform, I'm very intentional about getting evening flights so that when I land, it's early morning in whatever country I'm going to. And then I try to stay up until 9 to 10 o'clock at night so that I can get on that sleep schedule. Because if I'm jet lagged, I can't sing. So I definitely have to take those extra steps. It requires a great deal of discipline.
As you said, you've got to be prepared emotionally, spiritually, physically, and otherwise. Definitely. So that was your first sort of international tour, was it?
Yes, that was my first international tour. And then after that, I ended up, the most touring that I've done in my career was with Gloria Gaynor from I Will Survive.
I Will Survive.
Yes, and that was an amazing experience, because when I mentioned earlier about me singing for bar mitzvahs and that whole corporate circle, that was a staple song that we did every show. And to get a gig with her and travel the world with her, and sometimes I was even her road manager when her road manager couldn't be there. And I was the one who hired the other 2 background singers and groomed them. So it got to the point she trusted me so much. If we were going somewhere and she needed singers, hey, Tracy, we have several gigs in Russia. We need 2 singers. Can you find them? And sure. So I would find the singers and send the passport, and she would meet them when we got to the country or on stage.
So all this experience put you in good stead for all your future stuff with regard to, you know, organizing the mini jazz events and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
well, I had actually, before I started working with Gloria, I had already been doing the jazz events in St. Lucia for about 4 or 5 years at that point.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and so that's why, and the people that told Gloria Gaynor about me told her, they said she could be your vocal coach, she could be your road manager, she has all these skills, she's not just a singer. So this is why you should hire this person, because she can help you in all areas. Or a lot.
Amazing. Yeah. The amazing thing about Gloria Gaynor is there are only a few musicians that have ever been that will do one song and that's it. You know, that song is like an anthem for life, and for everybody life. Will remember for that.
For life.
For life. Yeah. And I'm sure people, I mean, on your tours and concerts, people go nuts whenever.
They would literally lose their minds. And it's amazing how many people that song has touched. And I mean, the power of music is just amazing. It's truly
amazing.
Language. And I mean, we heard so many stories of people that said that this one woman in particular said she was about to commit suicide, and I Will Survive saved her life.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, to hear those kinds of stories, it's just, I mean, that's a huge part of why I love what I do, because music truly touches the soul, and music can make or break your day. It can, I mean, and I've had people, I did a version of Stephanie Mills' Home. I did a house version, and I performed it in Miami. And this guy from Dubai came up to me and said he had been diagnosed with cancer. They gave him 4 weeks to live. And he said one of the things that brought him back to life was my song. So when he saw that I was performing in Miami, he told people that if I'm getting goosebumps telling you this story. He said if he survived, he was going to be at my concert in Miami, because he wanted to meet me and personally tell me that my song saved his life. And of course, it was just waterworks, because everybody just cried. It was such a touching story.
Touching story, yeah. I mean, you can never underestimate the effect that music has on people. It's like a spirit, isn't it?
You know, it really, really is. And even, you know, when I travel the world, like right before COVID hit, I had just done 2 weeks in Siberia. And it was amazing to me that these folks, most of them didn't speak English, but they knew the words to my songs. And they would come to my show, and everybody brought huge bouquets of flowers. And it's a universal language, because they some kind of way were able to sing along with the songs, but we could not have conversation, just hand gestures. And that touched my soul.
Yeah. As Stevie Wonder says, music is a language, universal language that we all understand.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. Absolutely a universal language.
So true, so true. I know that you've mentioned that you've been to about 57 countries or whatever, something like that.
Yes.
At the last count, and I'm sure probably COVID put the brakes on that. But
COVID put the brakes on.
If I were to ask you which of those countries did you like the best in terms of like your reception, you know, crowd reception, and probably just the atmosphere of the country, the food or culture, whatever. Which one would you say sticks out for you? Or which? Well, I'll make it easier for you. Which are your top 3?
Great, because I was about to say I can't name just one, because everyone comes with its own personality and characteristics. South Africa was absolutely amazing for a variety of reasons. Croatia was amazing. Dubai was amazing. And so when I travel to these countries, I like to sit and chat with people, and you know, I like to find the locals, and I like to find out, so where do I need to go to eat? What do I need to try when I'm here? Because you know, they say when in Rome, do as the Romans. So I like to find out, no matter how you know, there's some dishes that people will say, I will never, ever, ever eat that. But I'm a foodie. I love food. And so I'm always trying to find out, where do I need to go? And, you know, I want to, even though I'm there working, I want to make sure that I'm getting a really well-rounded experience, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. You don't know when you're coming back. And, you know, I always say music got me here. So I want to enjoy the experience to the full. And, but South Africa, Dubai, and Croatia for different reasons. But I mean, I love going to London to perform. When I released my 5th CD, my first CD release concert was in London. And that was amazing. Amsterdam, I love everything about Amsterdam too. So, you know, every scenario, every country that I've gone to, it's just something different and unique that really just pulls at my heartstrings.
Awesome. It's great. We're in London. Well, we started the Niger School Jazz Lovers group in London, but we have members all over the world. Mm-hmm. It's mainly a global online community, but the base started out in London. Mm-hmm. When next are you coming down here?
Well, look, I'm sitting by the phone waiting for folks to start calling because I'm ready to bust out of this country. I am fully vaccinated, and I actually have my first concerts this week. So Friday and Saturday, I'll be performing at a jazz club in Charlotte, North Carolina called Middle C. And it's with a full band and background singers. And I'll do 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. And there are folks coming from literally all over the United States to come to this concert because everybody's been sitting home. Doing nothing. So, you know, in the meantime, it's easier for me to write and record and release house music songs. So I've been doing more of that, along with preparing some of my jazz and R&B music. But it's just been amazing in COVID because, you know, it wasn't a hardship for me because I'm the kind of person I'm just going to adapt and say, okay, this is the hand I've been dealt. What are the positives? Let me hold on to that. What are the negatives? Let me take away from that. So I just made the best that I absolutely could out of it with keeping myself in a routine. Because like the first 3 weeks of COVID, I would wake up and say, hey, I am late for the couch. I need to get dressed because I have to go downstairs and eat my snacks and watch my trash TV. I'm so excited to be preparing for my first concert. And I'm waiting to come back to Europe because I miss London. And I've been doing a lot of music with different Italian producers. I mean, producers from all over the world, Japanese producers. So I am waiting by the phone, fully vaccinated, and I'm ready to bust out of this country.
Great. Yeah, we'll hook up with you when you come over.
Absolutely. I would love to come back and share with you guys the new music and any concerts, any concert updates.
Great. That's great. Yeah. Again, we've got one last video that we're going to show of you. And again, you're going to tell us about it afterwards.
Okay.
So can we have the admin share this video for us so we can enjoy Tracy again?
I don't want nobody else to ever love me. You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy. There's not a minute, hour, day or night that I don't love you. You're at the top of my list 'cause I'm always thinking of you. I still remember in the days when I was scared to touch you. How I spent my day dreaming, planning how to say I love you. You must have known that I had feelings deep enough to swim in. That's when you opened up your heart and you told me to count in. Oh, my love, yeah. 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. No. And I just don't wanna stop. Oh, my love, a million reasons. heart scream and holler, but it's a gamble. I'm so glad that I am winning. We've come a long way, and yet this is only the beginning.
Another great song, another great song, Lisa.
Oh my goodness. So I have never ever seen that.
No.
I have never ever seen that.
You've
and
never ever
that
seen
that was at the Brooklyn Bowl at the O2 in London.
All
and
right, okay.
one of the background singers is Suleen Fleming, who sings with the Brand New Heavies.
Okay, right, excellent.
Yes, and oh my God, so that was a band from London. Background singers were from there.
Yeah.
That was at the O2. That was, oh my goodness, that was a fun night. Thank you for, I've never seen that.
Yeah. We aim to please.
Thank you.
To please. Yeah. Pleasant surprise, I guess.
Very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's hard to watch yourself. It's hard to watch yourself back. You just kind of cringe when, I mean, you need to do it because it helps you to learn and grow. You know, you can see what you, you can see what you need to fix. But it's still, you know, after all these years, it's still hard for me to watch myself.
Yeah. I know it's very, very difficult.
Yes.
But you're a seasoned musician. You've been around for quite a while now, and
yes.
You've played with, you know, or you've been on stage with all kinds of folks. So I've got Carlos Santana, Will Downing, Chaka Khan, Jonathan Butler, and the list goes on and on and on. Which of those? Which of those musicians would you, would you love to be with again?
Let's see.
Stage.
I mean, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Carlos Santana, that was an amazing, that was a career high. When I got to sing with Will Downing, he actually has a female vocalist that works with him, but when she's not available, they call me in to sing. So I get to sing the Rochelle Farrell duet with him, which is always just a highlight. And Chaka Khan, I actually did, we were in Paris for Fashion Week, and I got to stand next to her, and we both wailed together. And that was yes, that was a career high, to stand next to her and sing. Jonathan Butler, I've done, whenever he knows I'm in the audience, he would just call me up to sing. And he is just a vocal beast. So I'm always just afraid, because he will call me up on the stage and I won't know any of the songs, and he'll sing it to me in my ear and I start singing, you know, as he's singing the melody in my ear, and then I sing my part. So, but all of these folks, I go in with a pen and pad ready to take notes so that I can always continue to learn and grow. And with all of those experiences, I mean, all of them were amazing. And one of the things that I love about Will Downing is that he's just a master from the stage from start to finish. So I'm always taking notes with him. And as a lead vocalist, I also love to do background vocals. So it's always an honor to do background vocals with him as well. But then in his show, he would feature me 2 or 3 times.
Awesome. Great stuff. I think there are a few people in the audience that would like to ask.
I see the chat going, and I'm like, I can't respond. Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah. So we're going to give them an opportunity to actually ask you some questions. They can either raise their hands electronically or physically. If we can see their video, if their camera's on, then they can wave. Who do we take first? We got Shenu, the birthday boy.
Yes.
So we'll take Shenu first, and then we'll go with Betty Faladay. Shenu just turned 60 on Friday, so we've been celebrating it just before you came in. We had a dance party for him.
Well, before the question, because I heard you say there were several birthdays, can I just sing a quick happy birthday?
Wow. Yeah, why not? Yeah, feel free.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
You've just made a fan for life.
Right. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Well, I have to say, I had never heard of you until we were going to feature you. And it makes one research. And I was amazed to see that not only have you done that many albums, I was just shocked that, wow, why is this very accomplished person? Why don't I know her? Is that me or is that the industry? But listening to you, I think, first of all, you make a lot of new fans. First of all, because of your business mind, giving back to the community, the fact that you can go from jazz to soul to house music. But my other question is, my all-time female greats have been the likes of Dionne Warwick and Rebecca Black, who doesn't need auto cue; she just sings. And so I heard you talking about diction.
Yes.
So my question is, they always talk about 7 octaves, 5 octaves, Mariah Carey. Well, I'm beginning to think it doesn't matter if you can sing well, like you have. It's awesome. So you talked about Dubai. I've been there. I think St. Lucia is more beautiful. But if you had to do a duet tomorrow with a female vocalist, who would it be? That's one question. And the second question is, I never thought I'd hear a cover of Luther Vandross, which would be just as good or better. So,
wow.
Right, go ahead.
Wow. Well, thank you for all of that. The first comment that you made said you had never heard of me. So I'm an independent artist, and I don't have the cash machine behind me to hire the people that are connected to get me, to be in your face.
Exposed.
Yes, exactly. If I could do a duet with somebody, the first person that comes to mind is Lettucey, only because to me, she is one of the greatest vocalists out there now. And as I mentioned before, I'm always trying to just learn and grow. And she's somebody that I know I could learn and grow from. And what was the last question?
No, I just wondered, how did you manage to turn Luther Vandross's song into yours? That is very different.
So Never Too Much. So I love Luther Vandross, and I I started opening all of my shows with Never Too Much. And I like for my audience to be able to purchase my versions of the songs. So I recorded that. And when I recorded it, I had no idea that there would be so many comparisons. And after I recorded it and it was released, everybody kept saying, wow, you're so courageous. Wow, that was a ballsy move. Oh my gosh, Luther. And had I known that it would have been received that way, I would have been too chicken to do it. So I'm glad I didn't know. I'm glad I didn't know ahead of time. But Luther he was just absolutely amazing. His vocal stylings, the way that he wrote, and I did it because it was on my third album, which was a tribute. It was a way for me to pay tribute to the songwriters and singers that had inspired me as well. So that's, what made me want to do that song. And Phil Davis from Atlanta, Georgia, he produced it. The musicians on that album, on that particular song, are from Atlanta, Georgia. And Phil Davis used to be Will Downing's music director, as well as Rochelle Farrell. He also worked with George Duke, and he is a master. So it was truly an honor for me to be able to work with him.
Oh, thank you. That was amazing. And thank you for the birthday song.
Oh, quite welcome. Quite welcome.
Great stuff. Great stuff. We'll take Betsy Faladay now.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I was a little bit late. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a Marylander in the house. So, hey.
Oh, hey. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, welcome.
You killed Luther. Oh, my God. You killed that all the way. That was
Thank you so much.
Beautiful version of Luther. The question, I have two questions. Number one, how did it feel working with Chaka Khan? I don't even think I can breathe in the same room with her. Talk less of you.
I couldn't.
I would be shaking like, oh my God, this is the sister. That must have been an experience. And my second question is, you've done so much. Apologies too. I'm with my brother that said he's never heard of you. I'm in Maryland. It's a big shame on me. I've never heard of a sister. And you've done so much. You've worked with everybody in the business. So for me not to hear of you, so you got a follower and you got my friends following you now because you in Baltimore. We support our own all the way. Definitely.
Oh my goodness.
The question is, I really, really admire you for giving back to the less advantaged because everybody knows, special need kids, music is a main way to communicate with them. And you do so much with that. Not too many people take the time to do that. So the fact that you do that, it's a blessing. Thank you so much for doing that because it takes time. It takes a lot of energy to communicate with special need kids, and you do it. And it seems like you gotta love what you do, and for you to continue doing that, that means you have a heart of gold. So I commend you for that. Kudos to you, sister.
Thank you so much. Where are you in Maryland?
Bowie.
Oh, PG County. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Absolutely. I have lots of, as a matter of fact, I'm really good friends with the mayor, Tim Adams.
Oh, okay. So don't worry. You got fans right now. I'm all the way now. I didn't know I had something around the corner.
Let me tell you, I'll be performing in the DMV soon. As a matter of fact, Bethesda Blues and Jazz just hit me up, and so has City Winery. So we're trying to figure it out. But back to the Chaka Khan question, I was in Paris with Gloria Gaynor, and for that particular trip, I was her road manager as well. And we were in the dressing room and there was a knock at the door and I opened the door. I'm thinking it's somebody saying, hey, you guys will go on stage in 15 minutes or, just giving us some information. And it was Chaka Khan. And I had to, I was so startled that I was like, you are freaking Chaka Khan. You know, come in. You don't need to knock. So, it was definitely an out-of-body experience because at the end of the show, we all went to the front of the stage. And on that show was the Pointer Sisters. It was Grace Jones, who is amazing. And I got to meet and hang out with all of them. So after the show, we all went out to dinner.
Oh, my God.
Chaka Khan, Grace Jones. And it was the Pointer Sisters, Kathy Sledge, and us. And they just scooped us up. We were a part of the family and we went to dinner. And then after that, some of us went back to the hotel for drinks and I got to spend a little bit of time with Grace Jones, who being in a room with her, I said, I get the it factor. I completely get the it factor. When I saw her, I was mesmerized. I was like, oh my gosh, can I it was like I became a little girl. I was like, can I take a picture with you, please? But I'm so thankful for all of these blessings because when I was a little girl dreaming to be a singer, I did not dream that big. So to be able to be in a room and to be able to stand on the stage beside Chaka Khan and just wail. I didn't sleep for a couple of days after that. I was like, do you know who you are? And you're standing next to me and we're singing and, our backs are to each other and we're singing and gesturing. And I was like, you're Chaka Khan. Oh my gosh. So it was just amazing. And I'm so thankful that God has blessed me with a gift and I'm able to use it and travel the world and meet people that I would never, when would that have ever happened if I didn't sing? So thankful for my gifts and so thankful for all of these incredible opportunities.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And like I said, you got a big fan now. You my own, so we got to take care of our own.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Great stuff. Great stuff. There's somebody else with a hand up. I can see. I think there's somebody. Badebo Ogunlami.
Hi.
Are you there?
Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
How are you?
Fantastic.
I researched you. I looked on Tidal, and fantastically, there's lots of your music on there. All your house music tracks and your albums are all there. You've got 10 items or more on Tidal, which is great.
Yes.
Because a lot of people come on here and they don't have their items on Tidal. I tend to use Tidal. So I was really pleased, and I've sort of added you to my list. You should have been a lawyer.
Why should I?
I'm biased. I'm a lawyer. Your diction is exceptional. It's not good, it's exceptional.
Well,
every single word you say is heard, even when you sing, which is even more interesting. You mentioned, my question is about influences. You mentioned country music as your influence, and I like that. First question, who's your country music influence idol? Yes. And second question, this is slightly more pointed. Have you listened to the 2020 album by the Bonnie Light Horseman?
No, but
there's a lady on there called Anais Michelle.
Anais Michelle.
Yes.
I need to write that down. Let me write.
I can show you the album.
Okay. Bonnie Light Horseman. All right.
She's got an incredible voice. This is the only country album I bought last year.
Really? I need to know.
I'm a jazz guy. I like vocalists. I like music. They'll tell you I'm crazy music fan. This is the only country album I bought last year. She is incredible. And I just thought, out of interest, who your influence was, because I don't know where she came from, but she's just phenomenal.
So I love Jody Messina. The country song that I have on repeat is called "I'm All Right."
Okay.
I also love Carrie Underwood. And
I don't know Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood started out on a TV show called American Idol. And her country, she has a very pop voice, but she sings country songs. And again, the reason that I got attracted to country music is because of the quality of their productions. Well, the quality of, their lyrics tell a story, the quality of the vocals that you hear. But there's a new country singer named Mickey Guyton. She's Black female, because country music has not embraced Black artists, females. Even though the first country music artist was DeFord Bailey, a Black man. Yeah. So, but yeah, Jody Messina is somebody that I love. And I actually got to sing background vocals with Winona Judd, and that was really awesome as well. Okay. But yeah, it's several of them that I put on repeat.
It's quite interesting. In this group, we're sort of a mixed bag of polyglots. We like all kinds of different things. So when you said you love country music, it sort of gelled with me, because I see the link. This particular group, Bonnie Light Horsemen, they are recrafting folk songs. So they go back to the Celtic songs and they actually put new lyrics to them. They do a lot of research, and it's very, very interesting music.
Well, I'm going to check it out. I wrote Bonnie Light Horsemen.
It was a prize-winning album last year.
I am going to check.
Bonnie Light Horseman. So it might be an interesting thing for you to sort of listen to as another, source or whatever. I always like to find new artists, new music or whatever. And I thought I'd just share that one. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to check it out.
We try to give something back for all that you've given to us.
Oh,
yeah.
My pleasure.
Great stuff. Yeah. I was particularly interested in what you give back to the community. You've been working with dyslexic kids and doing vocal coaching and stuff like that,
Yeah, so can I tell you about working with dyslexics? So it's interesting how I fell into that job. I actually overspent and went there on a 5-day temporary assignment, and they asked me to stay. And, I said, well, I travel, I'm touring, and I don't want to feel bad about taking time off work. And they said, look, we will work with you because it's good promotion for the school if you're here. So I ended up becoming the music teacher. And 8 of the 10 years that I did it, it was just so rewarding for me. I learned so much from these students, and a lot of the students that had behavioral issues were thriving in music. And one of the things that I've really learned was patience, because if I had students that had mobility issues and we were playing xylophones, I worked out a way so that everybody could thrive and everybody could get feel that they were able to succeed in my class. So I had a student who was a problem child for everybody else. And I taught this kid a Frank Sinatra song. He dressed up in a trench coat and a top hat, and he performed a Frank Sinatra song. And people said, how in the world did you get that child to do this? But it was patience and meeting people where they are, you know?
Sure.
And that allowed me to manage my expectations when I work with them, because I didn't want anybody coming to my class feeling that it was a chore and that they wouldn't be able to thrive. And it was just, I couldn't believe that I got paid to do this. It was an amazing experience.
Great stuff. I think Shana wants to ask another question. Am I right in saying that? Shana there? No? Okay.
Oh, no. I can't.
All right, okay. So it's an old hand that you've got raised up.
Sorry,
Okay.
let me pop it.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask.
We are going to play her.
When Tracy is not
Shame.
being Tracy on stage, what does she like doing? What does she do outside?
So my newest hobby is throwing axes. So I'm actually on an axe. I know this is
throwing axes.
Like literally throwing axes, like an axe. And I'm actually on an axe throwing league. And this started during COVID. I went in October just to do something different because nobody was there and we didn't have to be around anybody. And my girlfriend and I, and we've been going every week since October. We joined the league last month. So I throw axes twice a week, and I'm amazingly really good. And everybody says, Tracy, you're so prissy. How did you get into this sport? But I get lots of bullseyes, and it's like when I'm there, it's a stress reliever. Like I don't think about anything else but getting the bullseye. And so that's what I'm doing now. So everybody told my husband, don't make her mad because she's really good at throwing axes. And it's a shocker. I can't even believe that I love it. I can't even believe that it's something I'm good at, but it is fun. And I just can't wait for my axe throwing, the days of the week that I throw an axe. I know that sounds bizarre, but I'm still processing this as well.
Interesting. Now we've got, I think Ayo Adigbite has got his hand up. If you're there, Ayo, would you like to ask Tracy a question? Because we have to wrap up shortly. Very quickly. No, he's not there. Okay. Ayo, are you there? Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello, Ayo. Wait a minute.
You're muted. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, good evening, Tracy.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you very much. Until this evening, there's a track that you made, and until this morning, I never, ever knew that you were the one that made it, actually, and I've danced it for years. It's something like, bring that sweet loving back.
Oh, yes.
Star Points.
Yes, Star Point. It's a cover of a Star Point song.
It is a brilliant, lovely track. Please don't try and accent me yet, because
thank you so much.
I don't believe that. I mean, who produced that for you, and when did you actually make that, please?
That song was on my third album in 2014, and that was my tribute to Star Point and Renee Diggs and Ernesto Phillips, which they were both from the group Star Point. And it wasn't until I did the reunion concert with Star Point that I had ever heard of that song. And I thought I had everything Star Point. And when I heard the song and realized that, how much people were looking forward to me doing it when we did this, the concert was in Lyon, France. I said, oh my goodness, I need to bring this song back. And I did it on my R&B album. And then there were some house music producers that did remixes of it. So it became a house music hit as well. And it was a house music hit before we actually released it as a single. So that was a pleasant surprise. But yes, that's a Star Point cover, Renee Diggs. I love her. And that's where that song came from.
Oh, thank you very much for speaking to me, please.
Thank you.
That song is actually my favorite Star Point song. And I went looking for it on Spotify. It wasn't there. And the only name that came up with it was Tracy Hamlin, and that's how I got to hear about you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for Bring Your Sweet Loving Back is a brilliant song.
Oh,
so I'm
yes.
surprised it wasn't listed on the Starpoint for you know, as one of their popular hits.
Yeah, once they update, because I think Spotify is still updating with some of the older stuff, so I'm sure it will eventually end up there. But I'm so glad that you found me there.
Yeah, that's where I actually found you. And I you know, we have an ongoing. I mean, because I'm originally from Nigeria. There was a chap in Starpoint called Kayode Adeyemo.
Yes.
Who was the bassist. Do you remember him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how I first got into Starpoint back in the mid 80s, I think it was, or was it early 80s? Yeah.
Yes, I know Kai. I definitely know Kai. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I worked with him. Yeah, I've even done demo, before I performed with Starpoint. I worked with Ernesto Phillips singing his demos back in the day. I worked with George Phillips, who was a partner with Kai Ademo. So I did their demos back in the day. So I was working with everybody in the group on different scenarios. So it was quite awesome.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I've got one last question for you. I think it's from Bayo Adeyewale, saying, do you like Nigerian Afrobeats or Afrobeats as a genre?
Yes, I absolutely do. I love all the different elements of different genres that I hear in it. And I've actually had a couple of producers hit me up about working, but we haven't been able to find a track that would, be a great track for me. So we're trying to, find the track and work out the logistics.
Good stuff. Yeah. And last but very not the least, how do we get to hear your music? I mean, where do we go if anyone wants your music? Your Instagram, your what's it called?
Yes. So my website is tracyhamlin.com. I'm on Instagram as Tracy Hamlin Music. I have 2 pages on Facebook, and I'm really trying to get better. I've gotten better in the last probably 6 months of making sure that my pages are active, because I'm just old school, and I'm like, okay, I got to keep this out there. So I'm old school with adjusting to social media, but so I'm out there. I am active. So if you guys reach out to me on social media, everything comes to me personally. So I personally respond to everybody. Would love to hear from you guys. And just honored that you all have taken this time to hang out with us today. This means the world to me. I'm an independent artist, and it really takes a village for us to thrive. So I'm appreciative for platforms like this, and so thankful to you, Bim, for reaching out to me. And I'm so thankful that you all chose to spend your time here today. So thank you.
It's our absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Tracy. We wish you all very welcome. Looking forward to your trip in the UK.
Yes, me too. So hopefully I'll be there sooner than later. Thank you.